This conference will now be recorded.
Being 6 o'clock, we'll bring the January 31st, 2024 Tilton Budget Committee to order. We will be having the public hearing. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I think we'll just start right off with the public hearing and we'll do the housekeeping after, just because there are people here and might have questions. And typically, Tim, do you want to make a statement?
I can bring you up to date as to the budget that's in front of you. So this budget was voted on by the Board of Selectmen last Thursday. So you'll see the Selectmen's column is complete. And you can see the differences between the Board of Selectmen voted and Budget Committee voted. The Budget Committee's increase for the operating system, budget only is 4.08%. And if you were to go to the page, let's see, 15, those are the recommendations for the warrant articles, the amounts for the warrant articles, what the tax rate impact is for those warrant articles, and then the balances of the capital reserve funds for those warrant articles. The CBA wage increases, a full year, the first full year is $53,158. However, because it starts July 1st, we'd be raising and appropriating $26,579 for 2024. And then you can see what the estimated tax rate is following that section. However, keep in mind, this does not include adjustments that are made during the tax rate setting time. And that's pretty much it. There are a few, I can point out, if you like, where some of the differences are between the Selectmen's budget and Budget Committee's budget, if you're interested. But otherwise, I think you probably know as well as I where those occur.
Sure, I just looked at where they were. It was what, 1,500 difference. But
Franklin
visiting nurses, excuse me.
and the Pines.
And the Pines, yeah, were the two differences. In the budget and the Selectmen.
That's right.
Anyone have any questions in the audience?
Budget?
Comments, questions? Well, we're here for you.
On the budget anyway.
And no one's online either.
Are we talking about the budget in general?
Yes, that's what we're on right now.
Public comment.
Public comment.
I do. I'll play by the rules. Pat Constantino would like to ask the board to revisit Franklin V&A. It's my pet peeve. What
13.
page? 13. I find that Franklin V&A is an invaluable asset. If we look at other places in our outside agency where we give a lot more and get a lot less, this service to our less fortunate seniors and what they bring back to us, particularly at the senior center with the clinics. They run 4 different clinics up at the senior center, but they're not just a blood pressure clinic. They're not just a toe clinic or a flu shot clinic. they come in and they do the vitals and they find different things that arise with that particular patient and they follow through, something that seniors can't afford to go directly to a doctor. And that's what's so invaluable about this. I don't want this not to happen. And we all know that the service that they, not necessarily seniors that come back from the hospital and they need that home care. And let's visit hospice, end of life. There is no greater organization than the Franklin VNA Hospice that you can get around this area to care for our loved ones, the end of life. So $6,000 or $4,000 is your difference. I'd like you to revisit that and give them what they need to service our residents in the town of Tilton. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah, typically, I think this budget committee really tries to compare. We know the agencies are all important, and we've been just looking at how the requests are from surrounding towns, and we usually compare apples to apples and say, okay, well, they're getting this amount of services for this amount of money, and that's how we usually come up with our recommendation. Is that right? Yeah. So that typically all of these are from that viewpoint.
Well, can I follow up?
Sure.
So with that theory, when you know that the Pines Community Center asked for $75,000, $2,500 over what they asked for last year, and you know the statistics are 23% of Tilton uses the Pines Community Center, and yet you still give them a full boat of paying half of that facility, when over the years it's supposed to be self-sufficient, and who knows when it's supposed to be self-sufficient. I've been a selectman for 15 years, and every year they say they're going to go out and be self-sufficient. That was the game plan way back before I became a selectman. So if you use that kind of theory, then it doesn't fit.
Well, yes, it does.
Well, how
I
does
mean,
it?
first of all, we're only giving them 22% of their budget. BNA is getting a lot of federal money. We all pay federal taxes also. So what we're saying, they've got a lot of extra money. They've got surplus. So that's what, when we say, okay, maybe they don't need the money as much because we're paying them from our tax money and we're paying them for our community. So we're just trying to even that out a little bit. And the reason we didn't give money to a lot of agency is we look at their bottom line, and when they've got millions of dollars in surplus, we're feeling that they really don't need our more money from our tax dollars.
Can I say something? One of the things I want you to understand, Pat, is that it's not a reflection on their services, the way we looked at it. We think they do great work for the community. We looked at what they have in their reserves, what they have for money, and they have a lot of money. Just because we don't fund the total 10,000 doesn't mean it's going to impact the services of the town of
But do
Tilton.
you know that they can use those reserves for operating expenses? I mean, we can't use our capital reserve money for operating expenses, but do you know for an absolute fact that they can use their reserve money for operating expenses to go out and run these clinics and do all of that? Do you know, just because they have, even if it's $1 million or $600,000, do you know that they can go in and take that money out and use it? Or is it an investment for a specific reason?
Their gross profit is $2 million.
It-
I mean, I
but-
don't know. Yeah.
But do you know
I
that, though?
feel-
That's what
feel
I'm
like they could
asking.
probably
You
take
can look at the
Find
bottom
$4,000.
line and make an assumption.
Should not be a back and forth.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. We're just trying to tell you our perspective, and
And
thank
I'm
you for
trying,
your.
and I'm trying
thank
to
you for
tell
your
you
input. I
mine.
know,
All right,
we-
see you at
we-
town meeting.
we do value all you guys, yeah, that are services for us.
That's why we're all going to be there.
I know, you know my game.
Hey, it's all good. And your game is not, it's not a reflection of your game, Pat.
Can I answer Pat's question about,
Please
The-
state your name for
okay,
the.
Steve O'Leary of Tilton. Can I answer Pat's question about the Pines Community Center?
If you'd like to make a comment on that, certainly.
It's supposed to be 50-50. That's what it's been set up with when I was a selectman and stuff like that. We found out that they weren't being 50-50. Northfield would cut back some of their money. Last year, I heard the same thing again. I contacted the Pines community, and they told me Tilton didn't pay their fair share the year before. It's supposed to be 50-50. That's what I was told from day one, and I think Catherine Dawson will agree with that also.
Well, that's what the Pines Community Center would tell you, but the second part of the New Hampshire State Constitution tells us that we spend our tax dollars on outside agencies to receive services in kind. So we can't use tax dollars to fund an outside agency, one that's not municipally connected. And the Pines Community Center is an independent nonprofit organization, not municipally connected. So we essentially buy services from them. So when you heard that Pat said, I think she said 23% are the services that they're providing the residents of the town of Tilton, the budget committee needs to seriously look at that and say, okay, then what's the amount of money that we're going to send to the Pines Community Center?
Mm-hmm.
We felt this year it would be unfair to just cut them off. And we're
Working on that.
we're working on it for next year
I mean, what
to let them know that, you know,
the issue is that when Tilton and Northfield are working together, we tend to always pay 50-50. The app, the Pines, the library. What's come up is that not as many people use that service that we buy at the Pines in Tilton as they do in Northfield. And that's also true of the library. There's not as many Tilton people use the library as much as Northfield. So the idea is that we should create some kind of issue or
Like a
letter
formula or
around
something.
that. And
Some
that,
kind of formula.
so if we're buying services from these agencies, maybe we should make it a percentage. So it could change every year because say all of a sudden all the Tilton people went to the Pines, then we would owe more. So, I mean, that's what could happen. So that,
Then why did the budget committee, with what you're saying, Billy, is that you know that there's an issue there and you know that they're only being used 23%. Why did you give them what they wanted above what they, why didn't you level fund them?
I mean, it was $2,500.
Well,
That's the
it's
only
only
difference.
$4,000 for Franklin V&A.
Well, we are doing 3% for everybody in the town. I just thought it would be
Salaries.
appropriate to give them less than that.
Even if you know that
Well,
we
the,
don't
the
go
issue
there.
came up, but again, we hadn't forewarned them that that we have a problem with it. So we need to be courteous, I would say, and say, okay, these are our issues, and
Going
we're going to
forward.
have to deal with that somehow. So,
We're putting them on notice that we are going to look at this and it is going to be a factor going forward.
I've been at many budget committees and part of budget committees where they've been put on notice. So I want to know what's different this budget committee. Have they already been put on notice
No.
or?
No, we haven't ever put them on notice since I've been here. We've talked about it, but we haven't done that.
Oh,
Okay, so is there anyone
Any other public comment?
online that wants to speak? Anybody?
Yay.
So should we go through the warrant articles? Is that the next step? Okay, I will read them. All right, so we would start with three. Okay. So these are the warrant articles that will come up March 16th at the town meeting. Article 3, to see if the town will vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the town of Tilton and the Tilton Police Union, NEPBA Local Number 29, effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027, which calls for the following increases in salaries and benefits. Fiscal year estimated increase. Year 1, $53,158. Year 2, $51,234. Year 3, $50,208. And further to raise and appropriate the sum of $26,579 for the current calendar year, such sum representing the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits over those that would be paid at current levels.
Motion to recommend.
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Article 4, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the Budget Committee recommended sum of $6,753,677 for general municipal operations. The recommended amounts do not include special or individual warrant articles addressed separately. So that's on the bottom line here.
Yep. And that is-
They want
Motion. Go ahead, I'll second.
to.
Second.
Article 4, okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Article 5, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $90,000 to be added to town roads, bridges, and sidewalks capital reserve fund previously established. This appropriation is not included in the operating budget. I move we recommend Article 5.
A second.
Discussion?
Is this the amount we do every year?
Yes.
How much,
I don't think this we don't put in 90,000 every year, do we?
We have
Have
been.
we?
Yeah.
what was used last year?
Last year was 90,000.
No, how much was used?
We used a lot more. In fact,
Really?
if you look at the balances of 1231 in the capital reserve, it has 23,741. And there is a second course that has to be done on 2 roads coming in the spring, which would, if this warrant article were not passed, would leave us with a deficit of about just under $16,000.
You can't do much
So even with the 90,000, it'll only leave us with just under 75,000 to work with this next year, which is really not much to be able to do anything
No.
that year. So last year, there were a number of projects that were done, streets,
Sidewalks,
downtown parking,
sidewalks.
sidewalks.
Okay.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? That carries.
Who made that one?
I did.
Okay. And who seconded?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Article 6, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $45,000 to be added to the Highway Equipment Capital Reserve Fund previously established. This appropriation is not included in the operating budget. I think this is
I'm going to have the same question.
standard, right?
This is actually $10,000 higher than what the normal amount was historically. Last year it was less, but given the change in management and looking at the re-evaluating the fleet and the timeframes for which replacements will be needed, this needs to be increased.
What needs to be replaced?
Well,
Like something major equipment.
yeah, I mean, our biggest, oldest truck, for one.
Oh, okay.
So, well, the big one first, probably. That's what's on the schedule next, and that's several $100,000
Okay.
for that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nobody made a motion.
I don't
Oh,
think we
nobody
got
made
to
a
put a
motion.
motion.
Okay, that's a good point.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to recommend.
Thank you.
All right, I'll
Second.
Okay.
Catherine second.
Any more discussion?
There you go. Ready?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Article 7, see if the town will vote to raise an appropriate sum of $20,000 to be added to the Town Buildings Infrastructure Capital Reserve Fund previously established. Appropriation is not included in the operating budget.
What was this one again for?
So this is one that was created last year, and it's for any major work that has to be done at any of the buildings.
Owned by
So
town.
it's
Okay.
putting money aside for roofs, putting money aside for boiler replacement, that sort of thing.
Did we use any last year?
We did not.
Do we have a 10-year plan for this?
We
Or a
don't.
5-year
but-
plan or?
But, well, an informal one, but looking at even the replacement cost of the PD roof and the timeline for that, we're already behind schedule putting money aside. So, and also the last estimates that we had for the town hall roof, and I know there's different ways of fixing that, but this is, but so we have some things identified, but this needs to be part and parcel of the capital improvement plan and the timeframes for those replacement items.
When are we considering the PD roof? Because that's a new building.
It is, but if you look at the cost of replacing that roof out 20, 25 years, that's a big cost. And money, in order to smooth out the tax rate and set money aside, a little bit of money has to be earmarked for that every year.
But this applies to this building also.
Right.
Any building the
Yep.
town owns.
Any
Okay.
building the town owns. Yep.
I mean, now, so with this, there's only going to be 40,000 in there.
That's right.
So that's not a lot of money.
Not a lot of money. Yep.
I move we recommend Article 7.
I'll second.
Discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, Article 8, see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the Tilton Island Preservation and Improvements Capital Reserve Fund previously established. The appropriation is not included in the operating budget.
So what's been going on with this one?
Yeah,
I haven't seen any improvements over there.
Well,
I
no.
know
Can't
that,
get to it. What do you?
I know,
So
we're just sitting
If you
with money.
recall, there was in the budget under the park maintenance line, we had taken out the money for the hydrological study,
Yeah.
dealing with the erosion of the island. But I know town administrator has been working on this
99 has arrived.
project. And, and there's a lot of costs that could be coming down the road in the near future. So, so in any case, there is $87,140 in the account right now.
So this
And
would include the bridge?
it could be used
It could.
towards the bridge.
Right now, the selectmen are concentrating on preserving the island itself, the
Right, 'cause
erosion issue that we've had for years. I think we all know the state is planning something for the retaining
Mhm.
wall along the river, so we're trying to be cognizant of
Out
that.
of it.
Oh,
How many years have we been putting in here?
It's
I
been
haven't,
since its inception. There were a few years where we stopped putting money in because we weren't able to take advantage of the plan. There was a very specific study that had to be acted on from 2009, and that was null and void after that year. So there was some money put in for about 3 or 4 years, and then we stopped for about 3 or 4 years. And I think the last 3 or 4 years, we've been putting money in.
now I know we have the bridge problem, but my concern is we haven't done anything and it's still eroding. That's
We're
my
trying to
problem, but I know we can't get to it now.
That's not going to be forever, though. I mean, we're going to get to it. We're going to get this bridge thing situated, and
It's already been
Has there
15
ever
years.
been any work done on the island to deal with the erosion? Does anyone remember?
no.
No.
Ever?
And
Yes,
it's
well,
eroding.
in Dennis
block.
Allen's time, they used to, I mean, the granite stones
Yeah.
would,
Well, I
be
thought they-
moved and they
had
would put
Bud
them back.
Murphy
Yeah.
work on it or
Kenny
something.
Partridge
Yeah.
would drive his excavator into the river and pick them up and put them back.
Yeah, okay.
If you go over there, you can see the gabion baskets. Well, gabion is basket in Italian, so I just said basket. But anyway, the baskets, the wire baskets of stone are exposed now.
Okay.
So years ago, we were told by DES that we had to have a plan, an engineered plan of how to do this. Now that was probably, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Sure.
It wasn't
Yeah,
longer than
probably
that.
longer than that.
Okay, I thought, yeah. So who knows what they, really we should be able to just go in and put our granite stones back, not drive an excavator into a river, but
Right.
get the stones back.
And the hydrologic study, what was that?
It was to satisfy DES.
Okay, about that, we have a plan,
Pardon?
that we have a plan for the island or?
Well, we haven't got one yet.
Okay.
We are,
Oh,
the
okay,
selectmen
that
are
was-
earnestly
that's a-
working on.
That's a precursor to the
Yes,
plan. Okay, yeah.
The selectmen are earnestly working on keeping the island from eroding away.
Well, I move we approve Article 8.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right,
Ugh,
Article
my
9.
favorite one.
can't do much about it, honestly.
Article 9, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $9,000 to be added to the revaluation capital reserve fund established in 2002. This appropriation is not included in the operating budget.
So this is a reval year
Yeah.
for the town.
Oh, it is? Oh,
It is, and we'll be spending the bulk of the capital reserve fund on this revaluation, and that's that.
You can't skip it for a year or?
Well, you'll just pay
10
more next
years?
year, so.
You can, but we'll still be paying for it elsewhere.
You'll pay more the next few years, that's all. I mean,
Right.
spread
Are
it
we
out.
sending out to bid, or are we still going to keep using the same people? 'Cause
The
they did
selectmen signed a contract with Avatar, so we're committed to Avatar for the, I'd have to look up when it
They're actually-
expires, but
yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a 5-year. Yep.
they do good.
Only two companies.
There's not a lot to choose from.
I know.
Making a motion, Bill? Sure, I'll make a motion to recommend Article 9.
Second.
Kathy, second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Article 10, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to the Lake Improvement / Maintenance Capital Reserve Fund previously established. This appropriation is not included in the operating budget. So this is for Winnisquam, basically?
Milfoil,
Yeah,
yep,
milfoil, yeah.
yep, which
We've
the
Silver Lake and.
been doing every
Winnisquam.
year with this
The-
too.
Conservation Commissioner agents, and they've requested the warrant article. And they do use about $5,000 a year, or approve the expenditure of.
Okay, I move we approve, recommend Article 10.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, that's all we need to do with that, right?
Shouldn't Article 11 say by petition?
It's not by petition,
It's by whom?
by the board tomorrow.
Oh, I was going to say.
You're like, wait, where was I?
Where was I when that vote was taken? But didn't we get a petition for this?
No, there was, but I don't believe it had it had an issue.
Didn't have no signatures or something. Okay. I was just curious.
Okay. Anyone want to revisit VNA from the?
Mm-mm.
What's this thing, CBA wage increases? We didn't vote on that. What is that?
Yeah,
we just-
that was
CBA?
the first- that was the first one.
That was Article
Collective-
3.
Oh,
collective-
that
No,
was
that was
Article 3.
yeah,
It's
Article
backwards.
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you mind going over who did the, for the first two, Article 3 and 4, who made the motions and who seconded? Do you remember?
I think Catherine did, and I seconded them, I think.
For both? Okay.
I think so,
For which ones?
the first two.
I mean, I'll double check it.
I
but
made a
just,
motion on
I
Article
didn't make
4.
any. I didn't make-
And I seconded Article 4.
Okay, I guess you, yeah, that works.
I didn't make any notes.
You did like, okay, yeah.
I did a bunch.
Doesn't
I
really
got 5 on, so it's just the first two. It's fine. I'll see it online.
Okay. Anyone feel that they want to revisit VNA? Are we good with?
I think there was a lot of work done by the budget committee members. A lot of studying. We treated all of the outside agencies the same.
Mm.
I think if we revisit it, we would have to revisit all of them
Okay.
because we based that decision on
Yeah, I feel
as we treated them all.
good. I just wanted to bring that up before we close the public
Yeah.
hearing.
That's just my opinion.
Sure.
If we change something, we have to have another public hearing.
I
Yes.
think so.
That's what I thought.
Any other comments or concerns before we close the public hearing? Steve?
Steve O'Leary again. Just one quick comment. The funding for Academy Street, is that deleted also already? Because I don't see it on our list any longer.
That would be a selectman question, I believe, because we don't know anything about
Pardon me?
that.
I thought we had the
It would come out
funds
of the
already put
capital reserve
aside.
fund, wouldn't it?
That would come out of that, right?
There isn't sufficient funds for it. There were some changes to the road plan towards the end of the year last year. And also, we're still waiting on an agreement with the water company.
It's really a selectman thing, no.
If I may, Chair, I will, as soon as the MS 737 is reviewed by DRA, I'll make sure to let you know when it's ready for signature. And the only thing that I am hoping that they won't take exception with is the CBA warrant article, where it lists out the fiscal year amounts to be approved and yet raises and appropriates only half the year because it is only active for half the year. So sometimes they get funny about these things, but in any case, I'll certainly apprise the committee as soon as I know something.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we'll close the public hearing at 6:36.
Other
We need
business?
to vote on it.
Can I do our minutes?
Yeah, let's do the minutes. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. We're gonna do our minutes.
Hey, Steve, stay out of trouble, okay?
Huh?
Hear me?
Oh.
Bye, Paul. See you tomorrow.
I love his accent.
What's that?
I love his accent.
Who is that?
Paul, that's the new town administrator.
Oh, great. Darn, I would have liked to meet him.
You just did.
Well, didn't introduce herself.
That's what it's all gonna help, so. All right.
Party's over.
Feeling better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, as soon as he leaves, I want to make a motion to reduce the police budget by 50%.
Quiet.
You better zoom in real quick.
There'll be one of those tire things on your car. You won't be able to see.
Only one headlight.
Oh, no. And you're
I keep running
such a
it with the
rebel.
high beams, so I've got lights on both sides. It gets inspected next month, so.
next month.
I just got
February.
mine done this
Tomorrow's next month.
I know.
Right.
So yeah. Are there any corrections?
I like these minutes. They're pretty short and sweet.
Yeah.
To the point. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of January 17th,
2024.
2024.
I'll second.
Perfect.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So the other thing that we
That's what I was
had
waiting for.
was
The letter?
the letter.
He did a great job.
Tim did a great job, yeah.
I think it needs to go out ASAP.
I just don't know how,
I think we should wait till after town meeting and like send it out like April 1st or something. No, not April 1st. They'll think it's a joke. April 2nd.
But they're getting their full budget, so it's not.
Right, but we
gonna
want to give
affect
them enough
them.
time to start working
Yeah.
on this.
That's why I say now.
we
Why
need
wait?
to have a
Yeah,
letter
why wait?
which
It's
Now.
just that
is
time of year. That's all.
inclusive, and it should actually include all the towns, like Yap, library, and the Pine,
Why would we include youth assistance program?
because it's town funded.
No, but
Yes,
we don't
but I
have an
think.
issue
No,
with
they're
that.
not fully town funded. They got other stuff.
Oh.
Pines is just town
I
funded.
think the
Yeah.
pretty
No,
much.
they're not. They raise money.
Well,
Right, but I
They-
mean,
we
they don't
only
get
fund
government
them-
funds
think
and all
that-
We
that.
found
I
them less
think
than
the
50%
Pines is the
of
one
their
that has
entire
the
budget.
biggest disparity. That's the one we need to focus
Yeah,
on.
The
Pines.
library is fully funded by the town.
right. But I think Yap and them get all this other funding.
Yeah, I don't
so-
want to convolute it. I think the issue is the Pines. The Pines is the one that has the biggest disparity. That's the one that's got the
Right.
22%.
I'm sorry, but that's over year by year. It changes. Every year it changes.
Well, I think it's huge though right now. The
Well,
22%.
For the
It could be,
past
but
3
just
years,
to me,
it has
It
been.
seems unfair that
been
we're
even
just picking
before
on
that,
them now
because when Brittany
they're
first
down.
came
We're not
on,
picking on. We're letting
I
them know that we're going to
bitched.
look at it closer next year. We want to give them time to get their
Well,
prices
no,
up to
they're
where they are.
saying we need to say we're going to cut their budget next
No, I'm not
year.
saying cut it. I'm just saying we're going to look at it.
We will be cutting it.
Well,
We're
that's
concerned
what
with the inequity.
That's the whole reason for the letter.
well, the thing
It
is,
doesn't say
these are
that, though.
all,
No, it doesn't say
these
that.
are all
but
services.
That's what we will do.
These are all services. Just because people don't use the service doesn't mean we shouldn't have it supported. That's what
You cannot
that's,
support it.
That's my question.
You cannot support it.
Or
She sent us
or
the
okay,
law
not support
regulation.
it, then buy it for the town.
You can't.
Buy services. You're
We
saying
buy
you're saying we're buying services.
We're buying
Not getting 'em.
services.
Yeah.
There has to be an equal give on their side. So when we give them money, there has to be an equal give.
Right, so when you
It's
They
it's
have-
one of the reasons why,
All those services are available. Just because people don't go there doesn't mean
yes, it
we
does.
shouldn't have the services.
Maybe it's not
If-
promoted as
if-
much. in
It's just like a
Tilton.
police department. If there's no crime, why would we not have a police department?
Because the police department is owned by the municipality.
It's a town.
It's not an
town,
outside agency.
It's a town department.
We used to, so the town of Tilton and the town of Northfield used to each plow out the Pines Community Center. That had to be stopped because they were an independent agency and we could not use taxpayers' dollars to plow.
So we pay someone to plow it, now it's in their budget.
The
so it's
same
an
thing with the
expense.
library. We can't plow the library. We can't use tax dollars to support an
A
outside
non-town,
agency.
yeah. I don't want to just, I don't want
So
to go
what-
off on, I want to concentrate on the pine.
Whatever we get
Agree.
for services, we should be able to show that the money we're paying them is equal
Comparable.
to that.
Yeah,
So if we're only getting, if
Mhm.
only
No,
23% of,
but the services are available.
doesn't
I'll give
matter.
you an example.
But you're just saying because people aren't taking advantage of the services.
That's right,
That we should cut them.
that we should cut them.
I
But,
don't agree with that.
but the problem is, and I think you've said it, Bill, is we don't have a true figure.
right, we don't.
We don't know exactly what that number is. We're
Right.
saying 23%, but that's only of the programs they've calculated. We don't know
Right.
the others. They have not. So this letter gives them an opportunity
To start
to look
recording.
at that and give us true, actual, accurate figures. And we may be surprised. It may be closer to 45%.
And it doesn't say
I'm
we're
just
going to
saying
cut
it's
them.
not important for that.
It's not saying that we're going to cut them, it's
It's,
just saying
you
we're
know,
looking
It's
at
a
it.
service we're buying to
Yeah,
have available
right.
for the people if they want to use it.
If
If they don't
they-
want to
yeah.
use it, that's fine.
But if only
I mean,
22% of the,
That's what we do with the library.
right, but if only 20, so what she's saying is we're paying for service 50/50. But why are we paying 50% for something we're only using 23% of? That's what Catherine's saying. That's the,
Well, we're
That's
only
the
paying
issue.
22% of their entire budget.
no, we only have 22%.
The two towns each pay 22%. They fundraise for the rest.
I don't,
No.
the Pines?
Yes.
I didn't think they had that
It's
much
right in
money.
the, it's
grant.
in
I
their,
don't think they had that much fundraising.
I don't remember.
Well, one example, when I was on a
well,
budget,
they had
the
a
budget,
CBG grant or something. But that was
Well,
actually a
then we
couple
need
years
to,
ago.
I mean, it's okay to send a letter and inspire them to look at their prices and stuff, but we need to do our homework too and make sure that's,
well, I'll give you an example of one
Right
of the
here.
issues. Is one year I kept complaining, I really came down on them saying, how come you keep giving all the Northfield people grants,
Right.
free rides? We didn't get diddly.
Yeah.
And the next year, because I said something, then they got something. Why aren't they not, they're not on our side, so to speak, promoting wise.
okay, funding request, 75,000.
Total overall, 21%.
I gotta put dividers in here. I liked it when we had dividers.
I have them,
I
but
found this
it ends
old
up piled on top.
balance sheet. I didn't think we had a balance sheet. And they
Well,
had
do
like,
we need to just
Well, no, you're
motion?
right, it is 75. No,
CDBG.
he's right, 75% is 21% of the overall budget. So they do fundraise the rest,
right.
or they get grants, or they get, it's
There it is.
tuition
Or
payments.
what they should be doing is raising their rates for one thing.
Absolutely.
And I heard that Northfield
Total municipal
saying the
funding.
same thing. They're just
Robert
way
is
too cheap.
You're gonna be getting a new
21%.
director, which is gonna help. I would think, a new person coming in with maybe experience in other places, knowing what the rates should be. You know, when you're in the same
Right.
position for 10 years, you might not know what's happening around you or what the going rate should be. You know what I mean? They
Well,
don't
you'd
see the
think if
market
their
value.
rates are really cheap, they'd have a lot of people there. But
At the Northfield meeting, they had brought up all of that about the pricing and everything.
Right.
And they said that they had raised the rates for some of their, for like their baseball or one of their sporting things. And then participation actually dropped.
Well, some people can't
So-
afford it when you have 3 or 4 kids playing, to all of a sudden have a, you know, costing you $80 for your kids to play Little League. Some people can't afford that.
I think that experience made them wary of dropping the price, of
So
raising
maybe
the
they
prices
charge
for
more.
childcare.
Maybe they charge more for hall rentals, or maybe they charge more for other activities
Mhm.
that people use it for. I don't know.
I mean, they do have a listing of all their activities and the funds raising somewhere.
Well, this will give them an opportunity to think about it before next budget season.
I think it doesn't hurt to send them a letter to let them know that, I mean, it is being discussed.
Yeah, that we're
The Board
concerned.
of Selectmen is certainly discussing it,
yeah.
and we've discussed it. It just tells them this is what aspect we're going to be looking at. And I agree we should send it to the library at least,
Yeah, I mean,
because that's the other one that,
Oh,
the
yes.
statistics they gave us showed less Tilton residents were using it than Northfield.
they also,
And-
they're required to have an annual report, the library.
Yeah, how come we don't have that?
They'd never do one. I don't know. It's actually it was on the RSA 202. It's right in there. So it has to show all the money that's raised completely, all the money that was spent, all the ownership
Can we ask
money.
them for that?
What's that?
Can we ask them for it?
I mean, I don't think they do it.
They have to.
I think they said
It's statutory.
it was too expensive.
But it's statutory.
It is, I know.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have the protection of the RSA and not meet the requirements
Well,
of the RSA.
I just,
That is funny.
I could not find
Well,
a annual report anywhere. And they said, oh, well, I actually,
It's right on their website.
Brittany had sent one saying, this is our town report. And I said, well, this is only Tilton figures. And she said, well, that's because it's in the Tilton
So
report.
you're talking about the town report now.
Well, the town report, yeah,
Mhm.
and
Oh.
which is their annual report. Okay, that's their annual report.
Well, they also write something to go with it about Tilton, what they offer the Tilton residents and stuff, right?
They have one for Tilton and one for Northfield.
And they were
They don't
different.
have one for both. Because I asked her, well, you should have Northfield in there too. She said, no, that goes in the Northfield report.
It should be the same report. It's one
I
organization.
know, that's what I told her. But,
Do you think Old Home Day writes a different report for Tilton and Northfield? We just write an Old Home Day report.
That's pretty funny.
well, it's really funny because I actually went to
That is
the
funny.
state where they have all the town reports.
Yep.
And they had 2021. And
They're always
I went to
behind.
Tilton, our annual report, and I went to Northfield. And it was exactly the same letter, except one said Tilton and one said Northfield. I mean,
But you're talking about two different things now. You're talking about the report for the town report, and the statutory thing is talking about their audit report, their annual audit report. And she's saying that it's on their website.
No, I just looked
no, it's not.
deeper in there. Looks like the
couldn't-
reports that they
I was
give to
gonna
the
say, I
town.
didn't find
It's
it.
the-
Yeah, there's
it's
nothing
the-
about
it's the
financial in the
they put in
report.
the town report.
Yeah, it just says annual report,
Yeah.
and I thought that
It
was
says
it. but-
annual report, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's
All right.
not.
Right,
So they
I
need
think
to
it's
do
just the
that.
report that they put in the town thing that they put out. That's what
So-
it looked like.
Do we agree we want to send a letter to the library as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Then we're going to have to adapt this one.
I mean-
I mean, the last paragraph is easy enough, just instead of Tilton Northfield Pines Community Center, say Tilton Northfield Library.
The Hall Memorial Library.
Yeah, Hall Memorial Library, thank you.
And on the Hall Memorial, I think we should put something saying we would like a copy of your most recent
Yes,
annual report as required by RSA, blah, blah, blah.
please include a
Yeah,
copy.
202A:12.
Yeah,
So,
Send it out.
but the,
How many years worth?
the
do you
last
want?
sentence in the first paragraph, we have to adapt. But
Right.
we've talked about several times the feeling that for these for lack of a better term, these craft things they're doing, that there should be some remuneration,
Mhm.
even if it's to cover costs, but we should formulate a sentence.
Yeah.
That
Well, that's
says that.
actually, if you go like on Wikipedia, you see that what libraries, they're affected by the internet, just like everything else.
Yeah,
So they're trying to branch out
yeah.
to find other connections, which
Right.
I don't think is a bad thing, but
It doesn't have to be for free.
right, exactly. No, I mean the makerspace is not something that you would ever do for free. I mean that's makerspace. Actually, you have to pay
There's a lot of
to be
materials.
part of that.
There's a lot of materials you're
Typically.
buying.
Right,
They've already
right.
got the equipment, the materials.
They have the
Well,
equipment with a
I know a
grant.
guy in a woodworking maker. He has to pay a monthly fee
Yeah.
because there's all these machines that he
Yeah.
can use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes,
So-
they got the equipment and some of the materials by grant, but that stuff's going to run out.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going
Right.
to come in and make a bunch of stuff and use the space, you should have a little bit of an investment. The
She did
taxpayer
s-
shouldn't be paying for you to do that stuff.
Yeah, she did say she was gonna try to be a 503c, so that would be
Still-
great for them.
That doesn't mean they're going to get grants to cover the expenses. They
Yeah.
might get grants for programs, but
Yeah.
I mean, if
we
you go to
wanna-
something and
yeah.
you're participating in something over and above,
Do you think you can come up
you
with
should
a
have a little bit
sentence
of
that,
an
I'll
investment.
try. How many years of
Send it
annual
to
financial
Tim.
reports do you want? How many years? 3 years?
the
For
library
what?
bill.
The audit report?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the annual financial reports that you want me to include in the letter, you want me to include 3 years?
It'd be nice to have
I
some
would
to
say the
compare.
current year when they come to us plus 2 prior. It's
three.
more
I
than
mean,
enough for
one
me.
thing that-
I'll be able
Something to
to
look at.
What that
analyze
report
that.
does is say,
You can't count
in
2020.
case like where they lost a person, so they had money left over, we want to know what happened to that money.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why you need a
COVID,
couple
everybody
years.
got
Right.
money, but I don't think the library got money for COVID, and I don't
I think so.
Yeah, no,
know
they
if
didn't. They didn't.
Heinz might
because
have.
they weren't
The Pines
municipally,
But I don't know.
Right.
municipally
They weren't-
associated as they should have
They
been.
weren't really
Pines got some,
open
I
either.
think.
Well,
Right,
if they,
they
I think they were
They
a
had to do
nonprofit, they probably would have
drop-offs or
too,
something, but yeah.
but they
Yeah, I
didn't.
think if they had 501c3 during COVID, they would have got some grants.
Right,
But
right.
they didn't.
But did they get the one for payroll?
No, they didn't get.
So I
any-
think the
don't think they
Pines
did any
got
of
the
those.
The
payroll
Pines
one,
did
right?
because they are
Yeah.
what they do. They're different.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
And they didn't
they're a
work.
They're
registered
registered
nonprofit. Yeah.
nonprofit, yes.
So,
But I mean, didn't Tim draft this? I mean, maybe
Yeah.
tell Tim the points we want and have him do
that's
his.
what I was
No, he does a good
I
job.
told her, I said,
Yeah.
No,
"Send it
not
to
that
Tim."
Sue couldn't do it either, but
no, we
Tim
can work
does a good
together.
job. I mean, he.
I sent him,
He did
I run
wonderful.
stuff
Like,
by him a lot of
I
times.
think it was 2 sentences.
We all
And
saw
then
it.
I said, please fix it.
On the
And
library,
he went back and I went, wow,
On
no, Tim.
on the library one, we want to include something about, programs should, we would like to see some kind of fee-based program or some kind of structure for charging fees for these new programs. When-
Yeah,
when-
I mean,
when reasonable or
furthermore,
when-
it appears as though
Yeah,
some of the programs are being offered for free. When compared to like some other organizations, there should be a nominal charge, something
right,
like
to
that.
at least cover the cost of the materials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cost of materials.
But we would like to know your plan going forward to recoup costs for the Maker's Place or something.
Not
like
even
that.
just makers, but any program,
Any programming.
additional
like-
programs that have a cost associated with them to the library. The participants should have some share of the cost,
They should recoup their costs.
Yeah. at least for the materials.
Yes.
They have, they have an amazing program. I mean, I don't,
I have
I
no
don't know
problem
how
with the
many that,
programs.
you could go on the website and they do have like every day they have the same program or it shifts every.
I'm not talking about the stuff that occurs every Monday or every Tuesday or every
Yeah,
Wednesday. I'm
right.
talking about when they have a special thing, when they have like the maker space, because that's expensive. Or
Yeah.
they have the paint and sip, or they have the, the tarot card reading or whatever. Stuff that's got an expense associated with it.
Yeah.
Should have a small nominal fee.
Right.
The
People are not-
library should not be paying for those materials
Well,
without being
and I know
Because we're
the,
paying for
reimbursed.
I
it.
know
and we're
the
not
RSA
participating.
202 says
Right.
it has to be free services, but that can be
Library
library
services.
services.
library
These
service.
are
These are
extraneous,
extracurricular.
extracurricular, right?
It's kind of like the same thing you said about the Pines, right? You pay for a service that you get. So why am I paying for a service for you to attend something that I'm not getting the service for? No, it's
Right.
true.
That's the point.
Yeah, right.
That's the point.
Now, if they supplied the wine, I would go to the paint sip.
Let's go.
But anyway, I
All right,
think,
is there any other?
I just want to say that we
Yes.
need to follow through on this as a
Okay,
board though.
so have you got,
Please.
So is the
It's been
MS
only 5 years in the
737
making.
there
It's not ready
for,
yet.
yeah, this is, yeah, here it is. These
For
are,
the-
this is all signed. Do you want to take it or?
yeah, I'll take,
Okay, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Are you all set? No.
Just need a majority.
Tim said
So
just a majority.
1, 2, 3.
Your daughter, she wrote back and said, I thought you liked me. And I said, I do, and you're an amazing moderator. We need you. And she said, when's the last day for sign up? So maybe she's,
Good.
Nice job.
maybe she's
Friday.
leaning.
Suzanne, are you all set with it, what we were asking for?
yeah, enough. I
Okay.
think I'll play with that.
Okay, great.
When do you want your next meeting to be then? Now that you're done with all of this, will you go back
Town
to the
meeting?
once a month?
Probably after town meeting, right?
Well, we have to show up at town meeting, but
Right, we'll be at town
Well,
meeting, but that's not.
Catherine and I will be there.
I'll be there.
That's,
One
that's,
time it was just us two.
I know, it
That's
was just the
it.
two of us. 'Cause
That's 2.5
You had it on,
two
you
and a
had
half.
something you had to
Well,
deal
when I
with.
was town administrator, I had to go to my town meeting.
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
But I'm not anymore, so I will be there with bells on.
2.5 months from now. March 16th.
Approximately.
March 16th.
It's the
Yeah.
12th? No, 12th is voting, so the
Oh, no,
16th?
a month and a half.
We want to,
Anytime.
we have minutes to
6
approve.
Oh, yeah.
And
I forgot
how
that
do you
part.
want to approve the letter? Just let it go?
No, I'd like to see it before it goes.
We can do it by email. Can't we?
No.
Sending a letter?
We can't vote on
We
it.
voted and said we would send a letter.
We didn't vote
No, yeah,
I think you have to vote on
Thought
the
we-
final
yeah.
letter, probably.
we have to vote on it.
until you see the,
Just
so
keep
we
getting
have a letter to
postponed.
send to the Pines. I suppose we could vote on that, but we don't have one to send to the
Well,
library.
let's just have Tim
You
pull it
wanna-
together and we'll have a 2-minute meeting.
You want to meet just before,
Let's meet at Onions and have wine.
Why don't we meet
Town meeting?
just before town meeting?
I'll record it with my
yeah,
phone.
let's meet
Just get there 10 minutes early.
Wednesday before town meeting. How's that?
No, at town meeting, she's saying.
Oh, yeah, Wednesday at town meeting we could, but I was gonna say we could also come into town meeting 10 or 15 minutes early.
As long
We
as we're
have-
all there.
Don't we have to
Post
advertise our meeting?
Oh, yeah,
Shoot.
Yeah, we have to.
but we could still advertise it for, what time does town meeting,
8.
Saturday, 8? So we could advertise a budget committee meeting at 7:45.
Well,
No,
we
it's
just
probably
pick
best,
Why don't we just pick a Wednesday between now and then when
yeah,
it's ready?
we just
come
need
in?
to meet on a Wednesday.
Not right
Well,
now. like
I'm
next
in
What-
tax
week.
season,
Yeah,
What
so.
was your regular schedule? It was always the first Wednesday of the month, right?
Well,
So do you want
lately
to
it was
do
like
that?
Every
Yeah,
Wednesday.
No, I
well,
meant
during budget, it always
your
is,
regular
yeah.
schedule.
Let's take February off and meet on the first.
The first week in March,
March.
right
The
before.
first
town meeting.
Wednesday of March.
That's
That's
the
a good
6th.
idea.
Yeah.
March 6th.
Bill, this is why you're the chairman.
Who's gonna follow up on checking on you guys this 2024? Because this, and Judy's
Oh,
on
you want me to
it.
call the town
Kim,
and say
yeah.
who's, okay, I'll call, let
Because
me
all
call.
3 of you say
Talk
20
to Kim.
Right,
We have
okay.
to have
Can't be
staggered,
right.
we have to have staggered.
I'm the only one.
Right, I
we
know.
have to have staggered
It
terms.
should be 1, 2, and 3 year
It
terms.
should be.
Yeah.
And I was.
I've got a feeling Bill's is gonna be just a clerical error. Because it
can't all
should, it should, so, yeah, God, it should show on the warrant that he was voted in last year.
And it should show when she signed us in, how long we were signed in for.
Well, but remember, she inherited it from Cindy, the
Yeah.
sign up stuff.
Yeah.
And that can be, I mean, all of that stuff is supposed to go to the town clerk, but I can tell you in years past, it's gone to the administrative assistant and then to the town
So
clerk.
if
Right.
it's not correct, then let's talk about it on the, let's talk about,
Well, when does it have to
At the-
be?
Friday. And it says
Friday?
3 down there. If you go down, it's 3 in parentheses
The
on the
annual
budget. So I'm
report-
like,
I'm gonna,
It might be
I'll let you
different
know
terms.
tomorrow.
The annual
I will-
report will
I-
show if you were
But
elected last
Christina,
year.
there could be 3 people, but they might be a 1-year term, a 2-year term, and a 3-year term.
But
So
all
that would
3 of
stagger
you
for
are all
next-
24 and I'm
That-
only 1.
But that would stagger it for the next 3 years.
Yes.
Maybe that's what she's trying to do.
But
Okay,
shouldn't there be
3
5
additionals?
people? So shouldn't there technically be 4 up for election since there's one missing?
No, because they're staggered years.
I don't know. That's
Yeah,
the
but wouldn't you
problem.
still need to fill in
Oops.
that position in an
Yeah.
election?
Mhm.
So that would make 4.
Yeah, so if they're
So-
up and
Those-
nobody puts them
those
in,
could be
I'm by
appointed, those
myself
could
on
be
the budget.
appointed, but.
I have
So
to.
I'm ex officio. That's not elected.
Right.
Yeah.
By
Yeah, it wasn't
virtue of
count-
my position as being a selectman. The position for the Lockmere Water District is not elected, it's appointed by the district. It's required by law. So that leaves 5 elected positions.
Right.
And they
Who's up according to
And
the
right
town
now,
report?
there's only 4 of you in
Oh, we
there.
haven't gotten that yet.
Do we have a
Let's
town
look.
on the
report kicking
website.
around?
2022,
Do we have a town
right?
report from last year kicking
Yeah.
around somewhere?
I not on.
Why don't
but
I
I
have?
didn't know if there was one up
two-
here.
I have one at
Annual
home.
Where's
report.
the two?
Looking at it.
Oh, we haven't done that
I
yet.
don't know, usually there's
The
one kicking around.
2022 is
election
what they're
results.
called, right? I know where they are in the skinny closet. if you
2022
want to-
annual report.
It might show us like who was
Download?
up last year, because
Yeah.
they put the terms in the town report.
Right.
Yes, but look at the election. So
So
town meeting,
you're gonna get the answer just as she comes running back up with it.
budget committee,
I was a write-in.
Christine Dembinski in 2022.
For how many
Oh, I
years?
don't have, you know what? We don't have 2023 in there. It hasn't been written yet.
No, but what does her term say on 2022?
Well, online it says I'm 25.
If she was elected in
So the 3-year.
22,
So it's a 3-year
then
term,
it's 3 years, so that makes her
2025.
25.
So then if you were last year,
So if you were
should
last
be
year-
But they're all
3
different
years.
terms. They're all different terms though.
Oh, they
should be all
are?
They're
different.
staggered.
Yeah, it's supposed to
Why
be.
am I
But-
on 3 then?
'Cause you're really short straw.
I guess so.
That's who you replaced.
Catherine's gonna figure it out right.
We don't have so she'll have, yeah, what, I don't know why I was thinking 23 would be in here. It hasn't been written yet, so
No,
it's
but at
not.
least it tells us.
So Kim will have that information.
I'll call tomorrow and then I'll email it.
But the front of the town report usually has your term in parentheses.
Right.
Yes, but I'm
Right.
thinking it's incorrect.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, but that's 22, isn't it?
Yes.
Here's
Yeah,
the
but
one.
Yeah, but we're talking about we got elected
Well, no,
in
this is when it
23.
was,
This
this
is
is when
okay. This is
the
okay.
elections are in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's part of that.
Budget committee.
No, the 23 election isn't in here because we haven't
But-
written it yet.
But this is what it says, okay?
Right.
Bill Lawrence is up in 24. Catherine, oh yeah, Deborah and Judy are both 24.
That's what's on the website.
So
So just put your
Bill, you
name
need
down.
to ask Kim.
Yeah, minutes.
She's gonna look, when you ask Kim, she's just gonna look at her list. You have to say, I thought I was elected last year. And
Right.
then she needs to look at the election, just like it's written here, town meeting, to see if Bill Lawrence who was voted in last year from the budget committee.
Or look at her appointment
Because somebody
forms.
was.
Or look
Would
at
it
her
be on
appointment
town
forms.
meeting minutes, the 23, when we had the meeting?
Or
No.
her
No,
appointment
I
forms,
don't think
Bill. She has
so.
an
Or it
appointment
might
form
be.
for all of us.
So you were elected in 2023,
I was elected in 23.
vice chair?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm vice
And
chair.
then, so you're up at 2025.
Yeah, and I'm vice chair now.
And all these other ones.
Right, so the town report,
So,
Yeah.
so it looks like me and Deb and Judy all have to sign up.
and we may have a 1-year, a 2-year, and a 3-year term in there, is what I'm saying. Even though there's 3 of us, we might have different terms.
Right.
So
Yeah,
next year it
so-
won't be an issue.
The election results, so
Because you
budget.
stagger. You don't want 3
Catherine.
people
Yeah,
coming up in the
but
same
Bill's
year.
been here for,
Right, so he's
Yeah.
probably the 3-year
This is
term.
my second year, but I had to I was written in last year.
that's
Yeah,
what I
remember
mean.
that.
You need to have her look at who was
Something's wrong.
voted in, who was elected last year to the budget committee.
Okay.
And what their terms were,
Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's gonna be 3 years.
not if they're staggered.
I'll
So
ask-
whoever
I'll-
was voted in
I'll
last
just
year
try to-
wasn't replacing an absent person.
But they're like, what somebody was
They
just
wouldn't be
saying,
finishing out
there should
somebody's
be
term.
there should be a blank one too, right? Because we have an open position on here. On the
There's
ballot.
actually 2 open positions, right?
Well, one of them is appointed. One open position
Oh,
is
okay, right.
appointed.
One is the water district. Okay.
But there should be one, like,
I'm just saying, make sure she looks to see who was elected last year.
Right. Yeah, they don't really tell you much on that.
Only because
But
we have
I'll-
23
I'll
isn't
call
in there.
tomorrow and
Yeah.
try to
just-
get some clarification.
So
and
there's
email
one
it.
open,
22, Christine was the only one, 3-year
one open
term.
plus
Too,
Lockmere
if
is
she
number
sounds
7.
confused, have her look at the actual appointment.
Scott
forms
is
where she
the
signed it, where
alternate
where she swore us
officio.
in,
Okay.
because she should write on that too,
Okay,
if she sounds confused.
because it doesn't seem
I
right that.
don't, I'm
doesn't
like,
seem right that
somebody
2
better put the
people should
names down
be-
there.
1 year. Yeah.
Just me and you.
Yeah, Christine, you're the only one here for 2022 that's on the voting part.
Right, but then we had
so-
23.
Because I
Right,
believe the
which that'll be
budget
this year's
committee,
report.
if somebody leaves midterm, I believe the budget committee appoints their own,
Right.
Yeah.
and we haven't done that.
Well, it'll be interesting to see
For
how, if I have to come
years.
in, let me know and I'll come in. If I have to come sign up.
Okay.
And
I'm
Yeah,
in
and
by
let
3
Judy
I'll
know
figure it
too.
out and I'll just email everybody so you can get
Yeah,
there by
check
Friday.
Judy
at some
too.
point.
Yeah.
Right. Motion.
Nobody gets off that easy.
Yeah.
Just show up.
No, that's why I'm on it. I'm like, get down there, put your name on, hurry up, please.
Oh, I feel bad for Pat, BNA, but
Oh, I don't, in a way.
there's some there was some real diligent work that people weren't aware of. They didn't have to watch every minute of our meeting, but a lot of work went into those decisions. It wasn't made vicariously.
And us going from 10 to 6 does not mean they're going to get less services.
Right.
And I think that's what she's worried about. It doesn't mean that our seniors are going to get less services. It just means they're going to find the money somewhere else.
Right,
Well,
they'll have
what
to take it out of their
Because
funds.
they had $2 million.
Well, last year it got voted back up after we said no at town meeting.
And that's fine. If
Yeah,
the
that's fine.
legislative body wants to do that, that's their choice.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I think the budget committee did their job and did it very
Yeah.
well. Very
And Pat
diligent.
will probably stand up and get it done again. That's
Yeah,
okay.
that's
That's
fine.
the
And that's what
process.
it's all about.
And
I usually support petition warrant articles, just they get there and let the body decide.
I mean, I can read all their financials, but I can't answer the question I mean, if they have 2 million in profit, I mean, how do I know
4,000.
what's restricted? I mean, they have a lot of unrestricted and they have restricted funds. So I mean, it's just.
But I thought that 2 million was
it's a
sitting
lot
in a
of money.
savings account.
No, that was just on the income
But it doesn't
revenue.
mean
That's
it's-
right.
It's
They had
infidelity.
2 million
infidelity.
profit.
But
mean-
fidelity does not mean that it's not liquid.
Right.
So.
Right. No, I know.
They
But
could have
this-
some as cash and fidelity, they could have some stock.
That's why we couldn't answer Pat's question because we don't know. We haven't done an in-depth audit of them.
I mean,
Fidelity
we
is-
would
I
need,
have a feeling
That's
they
not
have
restricted.
an extra $4,000 within that lump sum of money.
I mean, it's the same thing with CAP. They have so much federal money
That's right.
coming in that, I mean, I know they want us to have some kind of ownership, which is fine, but I just feel that we looked at it and felt this was the fairest
We did.
disbursement.
We did
because
our due diligence.
That's what our job is.
That's what our job
only
is.
what our
I'm
job
gonna
is.
say,
We
you
do
did it well.
recognize
The
the
taxpayers
value
can
of those,
overrule
but-
us at town meeting. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally.
Right.
Yeah.
so
Motion to adjourn.
I'll email the letters out, so we'll get that all set up before you come in for your meeting. We'll make sure that they're
On March
the way
6th.
you want them, so.
Now,
Wait a minute, when's the
when
meeting?
she emails
March
those letters
6th.
out, you can make corrections and suggestions.
Right, we'll get that,
Do the
so that
final
they're
list.
all ready and you can
Have
vote on them at the
conversations
meeting.
between each other.
Right.
March 6th, we said?
Yes, I'll put it on the calendar.
Great. Thank you.
So, Catherine, you made the
Hopefully
motion?
I'll be here,
What is
but
the
no
date?
guarantee.
March 6th.
March 6th,
Yeah,
the
you-
first
yeah, you may be
Wednesday of
busy.
I got
March.
March 15th deadline.
Oh, well, we're
Wednesday
gonna get,
before
you're gonna,
elections.
we're gonna, yeah.
Budget, it's going to my phone.
So your daughter didn't say, when can I come to them? She said, when do I have to decide by? And I said, Friday. So she hasn't wavered yet.
Is there a second for the motion to
I'll
adjourn?
second. Let's go.
All those in favor? Aye.
I'm writing her in,
Opposed?
Deb, I'm writing her in anyway.
Well, I know, but she may not accept it. She's gonna do it of her own free will.
What was that?
Moderator.
That's such a great job, but it's so hard.
Well, and she does a great